Hello. I need to get some kind of introduction for these videos because I don't have one. I just kind of say, hello, it's me again. And that's really all I can think of to say, to be honest. This is another video with my face talking about, excuse me, a console I own and showing off some of the games. I am aware that this is quite a staid and like boring, stereotypical way of doing these kind of videos with, you've got the shelves in the background showing what kind of games you've got there, But yeah, I decided to change the room around because I don't think anyone's going to look at my videos and see the footage in the background on the other ones and put a copyright hit on it. But it wouldn't surprise me with the stuff that's been going on recently on YouTube. With a lot of the other big, I don't consider myself to be a YouTuber, weirdly, even though you're watching this on YouTube now. I do a lot more writing and podcast stuff, and it's only occasionally when I can be bothered to do something like this and spend hours uploading the video to YouTube, because it does take ages because of the crapness of my internet connection, that I bother doing these. So yeah, I don't know where this ramble's going. I probably should just get on with things. But yeah, this is going to be just looking at the games and the consoles I own when it comes to the Gamecube. It's not a massive collection. I'm not a hardcore Gamecube collector. It's quite, to be honest, when I think about it, the only system I own a shit ton of stuff for is the Dreamcast. All the other consoles I have multiple different systems, but I have a select few games for each one. Apart from, I think it's only the Jag and the Dreamcast, the ones I've got massive libraries for. Everything else, I take them or leave them. Just have the main gems for each system. So right, I'll crack on. I have actually got two GameCubes. I've got a black one. It's just a standard black one with a weird purple bit on the bottom. Actually, I'll tell you what that is in a minute. And this is my purple one. So these are the two main variants that were available in the UK. I think we got the orange one and a couple of other ones, a white one as well. But these were the two that were available at launch. My history with the GameCube goes as such. It must have been about 2002, 2003. I didn't have a console. No, I didn't have anything at that point, because I was in between years at university, and I think I'd sold my PlayStation 2 just before the end of the first year of university. And then in that summer is when the GameCube came out, if I remember correctly. It's a long time ago now, so I'm trying to remember. But yeah, because it was so cheap, I think it was about 129 quid. I just went down to the local game shop and just bought one. And I only had the one game, which was Rogue Leader, or Rogue Squadron 2, whatever it was called. Anyway, so my initial one was in fact a black one, just because I thought it looked better than the purple one. However, I picked this one up from a car boot sale probably about 3 years ago now. And it was about a £5 with a couple of games. And the black one, weirdly, I saw it in a shop window, and again that one was a £5 as well, £5. And the only reason I bought it was because it had stuck to the bottom of it the Game Boy player, which you can see there, which allows you to play Game Boy Advance games. It was just in a window. It said no cables, no joypads, nothing, just the console. And I'm pretty sure the guy who was selling it at the shop, who was selling it, didn't realise what that was stuck on the bottom of it. So it was £5, so I thought, I'm having that. And then I thought to myself, it needs a disc to play the Game Boy games, and I've seen them going on eBay for ridiculous prices. However, when I opened the console, it's probably not in here now, no, the Game Boy Player disc was inside it, so I was like, winner, £5 for another GameCube with the Game Boy Player. You pay quadruple that just for the Game Boy Player itself, more. So yeah, I got quite lucky with that. Weirdly, I've got two GameCubes and only one controller. I had another one, a third-party one, it stopped working. Don't know why. Yeah, I've got a couple of memory cards knocking about, but I'll get onto the games. This is not going to be a very long video, by the way. I've not got a massive collection of GameCube stuff. I just thought it was about time I did another video, rather than just keep doing them Dreamcast magazine things, because I'm sure people get bored of those. Right. First one, Extreme G3. I love the Extreme G series on the N64. It was one of the first games I got, my N64, Extreme G. And when I obviously found out that this was coming out, I bought it. I will say, none of these games here, the ones I had originally, that GameCube was long gone. So these are ones that I've recently rebought or bought in the last 2 or 3 years since I got the new GameCube. So yeah, Extreme G3 is a really good futuristic racing game from Acclaim, RIP. And yeah, if you've never played it, just think of Wipeout or Extreme G. Think of Wipeout or F-Zero, but on sort of light cycles, like Tron light cycles. And yeah, it's really good, so recommend it. Next up, weirdly, speaking of futuristic games, is F-Zero GX. For some reason, well, I know why, I've got two versions of this, one of which I bought one copy from a market in Manchester, and when I got it back home, the disc had a big crack in the middle of it. Took it back to the market store, and like something out of Gremlins or some film, the market store had closed down in the day that it took for me to. It wasn't just closed; it was gone. You know, it was the actual unit was completely empty where this market stall had been, where I bought F-Zero from. I was like, fucking hell! I've been looking for it for ages, and I finally get it, and the disc got a big crack in it. So that was a bit annoying. However, what I did notice was that when I opened the box and I had the cracked disc, behind the F-Zero disc was Zelda, the Zelda collection, the collector's edition with like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on it. So I wasn't that bothered. So I got that. You know, I was a bit annoyed at the fact that F-Zero didn't work, but I did get the Zelda disc as well. And then that's the standard F-Zero GX. On the subject of F-Zero, I did get the N64 DD version working on my EverDrive the other day. I just updated the software on the EverDrive and put an N64 DD ROM onto it, and it just ran like normal. So that's quite cool. I've never played it before, and it's basically more of the same, but you can edit tracks, and there's a couple more new tracks on there as well. It's really tough, very tough. It's a lot tougher than the original F-Zero X. So yeah, there's a nice snippet for you. Resident Evil, this is the remake. I love the way on the back there's no like description or anything. It needs no description, it's just Resident Evil with better graphics. Brilliant game. Resident Evil 4, again, doesn't really need any introduction. I first played this on the PS2, and I've only played the Gamecube version a bit. I understand it's the superior version. Weirdly, I've also got this on the Wii as well. I didn't like the Wii version though, because you have to move you around all over the place trying to shoot stuff, and when you've got like 4 or 5 zombies in front of you, you're like, oh, looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling. It's like, no, just give me a joypad. Fuck that Wii thing. Wiimote. Rebel Strike. This is Rebel Strike Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3. Yeah, what more can I say about it? It's just a great Star Wars game. Virtua Striker 3. It's a continuation of the Virtua Striker series, as you can probably tell by the name. If you don't like Virtua Striker 2 on the Dreamcast, you won't like that, because it's pretty much the same, just with slightly better graphics and a few more teams. Rally Championship. I don't really know what there is to say about this. It's a pretty poor rally game. It's not a sim, it's more arcadey. The camera seems really zoomed out. You can't really get the camera very close to the car, so it seems like you're playing like a kind of Micro Machines type game. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. It's not the best rally game going, but worth a play if you can see it cheap, I suppose. V-Rally 3, again, I'm not very keen on this. I don't like the way the cars handle. I like V-Rally 1 and V-Rally 2, but V-Rally 3 is just, I don't know, I just don't really like it. Weirdly, I've got this for every console it's on. I've got it on the PS2 and the Xbox. I don't know why, they just kind of ended up in my possession. So, yeah. ISS 2, another football game, soccer game even. This again was one of the first games I had for my original GameCube. I like the original International Superstar Soccer on the PS2. That was the one that was modelled after the N64 games. If you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, just take my word for it. There was a game called International Superstar Soccer, which was named after the N64 games. It was on the PS2. Thought it was really good. That is a continuation of that. It's got nothing to do with Pro Evolution Soccer. It's a completely different franchise, even though they're both from Konami. This is a lot more arcadey than Pro Evo. Moving on, Sonic Gems Collection. This has got Sonic CD, I'm just reading the back, Sonic the Fighters and Sonic R, plus a load of Game Gear games on it, such as Sonic Drift, Sonic 2, Spinball. Those are all from the Game Gear, by the way. So that's quite cool. Yeah, Sonic R. It's a nice collection, that. The other Resident Evil game on the GameCube is Resident Evil 0. This is more traditional Resident Evil style game with the 2D rendered backgrounds and 3D characters that move around with a static camera. So it's kind of going back to the original. I believe this was going to be an N64 game originally, and it was ported to the GameCube after the N64 one was cancelled. I'm not entirely sure if there is actually a ROM, an N64 version of this somewhere online. I seem to remember reading something like that. I might be wrong. If I am, don't tell me, I'm not bothered. 18-wheeler, it's pretty much the same as a Dreamcast game. If you don't like that, you won't like this. I'm kind of, it's alright. Apologies, I'm not looking directly at the camera. I keep looking at the little screen just because it's just out of habit, really. Because on my earlier videos, when I started doing these like this, I used to use my iPad, and obviously you can't really see where the camera is, so I would constantly just be looking at myself. But then it looked like I was looking like off the screen. If you go back and have a look at my old ones, I'm sure you'll see that. Riveting, I'm sure. Metroid Prime, great game. Again, got this on the Wii as well with the old nunchuck thing. Actually, this controls a lot better on the Wii, and then the other like ports like Resident Evil 4. Yeah, what more can I say about Metroid? It's a first-person shooter, puzzler up, platformy thing. It's great, typical Nintendo, high quality adventure game. Top Gun Combat Zones. It's all right, to be honest. I think I paid about 50p for this on a car boot sale. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never played it before, or even really heard anything about it. And it's kind of like that game on the Dreamcast, Deadly Skies. It's kind of like that. It's very like, is arcadey the word? It's not a sim. It's certainly not on the same level as something like Ace Combat, but it's all right. You know, it plays well, looks good, decent enough. It's kind of based on the films, but there's no Tom Cruise in it, so I'm going to be honest with this one. I've not actually played this. It's Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. It's a Sega game, and Billy Hatcher does look quite similar to like the same kind of style as Sonic, with the big eyes and the weird sort of mouth. Yeah, I believe you have to like roll a big egg around. Not remotely interested in that kind of game, to be honest, so I've not really played it. Wave Race, Blue. I said Blue Steel then, but that's Zoolander, isn't it? Blue Storm, and yeah, I recently saw a video about this on YouTube. Funnily enough, go and have a look if you've got the time to do so. It's where you can put a cheat in, and the announcer, who just gobs off constantly throughout the game, actually starts being dead sarcastic. So yeah, just put like Wave Race, GameCube sarcastic commentator. It's quite funny actually. But yeah. Great continuation of the Wave Race franchise. Yeah, it looks really good. Nice water effects. In fact, I think I don't know what I'm looking over there for. I did a video on one of my other videos from ages ago is about Wave Race or GameCube versus Dreamcast, and it's this versus Surf Rocket Racers. This is obviously a lot better game, like graphics-wise, but I thought it'd be interesting, you know. I'm sure there'll be somebody saying, you can't compare the Dreamcast to the GameCube, like they usually do, you know, and other things. Also, what's the point, right? I'm just sat here talking like this, and people come along and put thumbs down. Like, when I'm looking at videos on YouTube, if I don't particularly like something, I'll just click off it. Why click on thumbs down? What's the point? I'm not bothered, it's just, I just noticed, I was looking through my videos the other day, and loads of them have got like loads of thumbs down. I'm thinking, what could I possibly have said or done that warranted somebody to not like it? It's just a video about rubbish, some random dude you don't even know talking shit at a camera. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, it's quite similar to the first one. Yeah, more the same. Last two now, Medal of Honor, Frontline, yeah, and Rogue Leader. It certainly was at $24.99 if that's what you're thinking. I think it was about 50p. Yeah, it's a great game. That's actually the first game I ever had from a GameCube. Yeah, memories. So yeah, I'm sure that held your attention right to the end. Riveting stuff. Yeah, like I said, I've changed my games room around. There's a lot more room in it now, because it's quite a small room, but I've kind of shoved everything to the edges and changed everything around. There's still a big pile of stuff over there on the floor, which I've not really put, I've not been able to put away yet. And yeah, that's about it really. Don't know what else to say. I had a day off today. Didn't really do anything. Wrote an article about a Dreamcast game. Yeah, thanks for watching.